I've owned nearly every single car in GTA, and there are some in the game that are just clearly underrated. In this video, I'm going to be going through a few and showing you why they're spectacular. Please enjoy. Somebody commented, it may sound weird, but the Apocalypse cars. And the Apocalypse cars do have their own category in GTA Online. But when you couple it, which a lot of guys do, couple it with the fact that you can actually nearly make these cars look kind of stockish. You can do it with the Imperator. The Impaler you can kind of do it with. The ZR350, not so much. But these cars, you can remove a lot of Arena War stuff on it and then keep the nitrous. And then what other car in the game that's just stock and normal that has nitrous? No other car except these cars, which it baffles me to this day, like why Rockstar actually never brought nitrous, even though they brought the mechanic in the game. The arena cars are special, but they are also expensive. The Weevil Custom. First of all, for this car, because a lot of people are probably going to ask, you have to buy the Weevil first and then take it to Benny's and custom upgrade it, which does end up costing 980,000. Now, although this changes the looks of the car a lot, this might as well be a Benny's and HSW upgrade, because you're basically making the Weevil into a hot rod that goes way faster. And it actually goes faster than a lot of HSW cars. So vehicles on old gen can experience the speed of HSW cars, which is silly. It's like, okay, why do previous gen not have the HSW version? Because clearly it can handle the speed of the Weevil Custom, so it must handle the speed of all the other HSW cars. That's a question I cannot answer. The Vivinite is crazy. You cannot move on to GTA 6 without trying this thing. It is stupid. It's got a HSW. Yeah, it can get expensive with the stock price being 1.6 million, but you can't really experience anything like this. A minivan that's HSW. And yeah, when you first drive it, you're like, this is not that fast. And then the thing keeps and keeps going. It's so gradual. It's not like any of the electric cars in the game. Yet it is a bit weird, the fact that it has all these exhausts with no smoke coming out of it, but it's rattly. But it's the most gradual electric car I've seen. When you're driving and realizing this thing's doing 150 and you're seeing everything walk past you, it's definitely a unique experience that you're not going to get anywhere else with any other vehicle. The Brioso was cool that it was a little car and it has HSW, but the Brioso gets beat by normal cars that are not even HSW. The HSW costing 800,000, bring this car to 2.4 million. It's crazy, but at least drive your friends if he has one. You guys will always hear me rant about the Arbiter GT. I go on. This car is good without HSW. It's incredible with HSW. It's so dramatic to drive. It's so fast. It does long wheelies. It's just so fun. The amount of modifications you have on it, the amount of realism the looks has, the body shape. And I just think people don't even bring it to meets as much, don't even have it out in GTA Online. And I'm like, this is a car that I rant about all the time. Rant as in rant you should probably buy. So underrated in my opinion. I have a few of them and I do not regret spending that money. That money being 1.58 million. And really, the HSW price is only 375,000. What a bargain. One car that was on my list and was on your list as well was the Bestia GTS at 610,000 actually. And yeah, it actually is a rare vehicle to see in GTA Online. And it's one of the only Grand Tourers. It should be more popular, but I think this is one car that people just go on Legendary Motorsports, look at it and think, oh, the front of this thing doesn't look too great. The speed of it's not too great. 610,000, it can't be that good. And I would agree, it's not actually that good, but it's just such a unique shape. The shooting brake shape, the Grand Tourer, the looks of this car is like no other in GTA. The Corvette D1, you probably was not expecting me to put this one on the list. But when it actually came out, not many people care about this thing. I get it with the average age of like GTA players and what strikes out to them. I didn't really expect a car that's based on the Corvette C1 to actually be popular. But I did compare it with the Corvette C1, the Barbie version. And you realize how close the Corvette D1 actually looks to the Corvette C1. Many similarities, including the modifications, including the hood. Such a nice, classy, chill car. And the best part about it is the sound for me. The car sounds lovely and you've got these backfires and crackles that are so subtle. Like you have to listen out for these backfires and these pops. I'm not talking about the generic GTA pop. There's one that comes out after that, or two or a few. This car is not screaming to be a really good sounding car. It just subtly is. I think quite a lot of people know and drive the 8F Drafter. But when a car is so good that even when people drive it so much and already have the car and it's still underrated, that means a lot. The first big value of this car is the fact that it only costs 718k. That's a price that doesn't make sense if you actually look at what this car can do, how it handles, how fast it is, the modifications. There's not a lot, but there are really good modifications. It's not really the quantity of modifications that matter, it's actually the different types of modifications, because as you know, there are many cars that have the same modifications but in 3 different textures. The sound on this car is just, everyone knows how nice the sound of this car is. It's on the best sounding cars list. Driving this car everywhere at whatever throttle is nice. This car does stick and is really good to drive, but when you mix it with that experience of just hearing it, you don't care if it sticks or not. You just are listening to that sympathy and you're only paying 718k for it. Amazing. Surprisingly, being an underrated car video, I thought there was going to be so many more cars that were removed. Yeah, this is one of them. And honestly, I think for a bad reason. I think this was one of the cheaper cars that offers so much that Rockstar had to remove it off the website. 145,000 this vehicle costs, and honestly it's funnily fast. Like, I'm pretty sure if they released this today they would have put a HSW on it, because this thing was beating most cars in the game when it was released. It is what you can call a sleeper, and the funny Lada type modifications and the cardboard modifications that they used to put on for joke was actually in the game. And instead of Rockstar charging you a stupid amount for these cardboard modifications, every single cardboard modification is $100. I know, you're like, what the hell, this does not sound like Rockstar. But yeah, this was like a golden era, or just a golden car to be honest. But you will have to buy this from a friend because it's no longer on the website. The Astro GC is just one funny vehicle, because you're just like, why did this come out in 2024? It made no sense to a lot of people and still doesn't. This car is basically a statement from GTA. It's like, we can still make cars like we used to. This car represents 2013 GTA. The damage of the car, the look of the car, the stance of the car, everything about this car. Even when you go to the modifications of the car, minus the liveries and like some of the spoilers, this is such an old-fashioned GTA car. And it based on the Camry. Like, when you have this vehicle out in GTA Online, you're most likely going to bump into someone while you have it out that has that same car in real life and is just confused and never knew it was in the game. You know, what a cool car to bring, and how close it looks to the actual Camry is striking. Like, how did they pull this off? And it's not that expensive. 459,000 is so cheap, but then again, it's nearly the price of the Urus in the game. Now, the Growler's one that you guys picked. You guys commented the Growler and it got a few thumbs up, and I had to tilt my head sideways a bit and think, the Growler? I don't really hear much people talking about how good the Growler is. And then I realized, actually, not many people talk about how good the Growler is. It is underrated, because with the modifications of this car, forgetting that it almost looks identical to a Cayman, this vehicle's 1.22 million. Like, what was Rockstar thinking pricing it at 1.2 million? Some cars still to this day just shock you and more likely confuse you at why they cost that certain price. You know, I don't think for something that's based on a Cayman, it's the best handling car. It definitely does have that mid-engine feel, but it just doesn't handle the best as I'd want a Cayman to handle. Do you agree with these cars? Do you not agree? What would you add on this list? Please let me know in the comment section. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and see you guys in the next